Hey, how's it going? It's Rocky. Welcome to the Diaries of an Average Futures Trader. And before we get started, just a quick disclaimer. This is for informational and entertainment purposes only and should not be relied upon as a basis for investment decisions. So it is Monday. Happy Monday, everyone. I'm in the West Coast and it's a lot of rain. It's been pretty windy, a lot of accidents on the road, a lot of flooding. Thankfully, we're okay. A couple of branches from a nearby tree that was a bit scary, but other than that, we're lucky to not have any issue. So it is February 5th, Monday, 1:15 in the Pacific Coast, and today I want to go through TopStep. So TopStep is the other funding firm that I started, but before we get going with that, I'm showing here the Dow Jones Industrial Average. I do my analysis on Thinkorswim, and to start the day, it was a pretty steep move to the bottom, and then about midday or so, it was a slow move up, and then towards the end of the power hour there, you see that drastic move down. So a lot of that could be attributed to an interview that Powell had yesterday. An article came out, the interview came out about setting the expectations for when the possible rate cuts will be. So the market definitely reacted from whatever Jerome Powell has mentioned there. All right, so before we go to that, I want to do a quick overview of the markets here, and let me just zoom into the major index. You can see that Dow Jones Industrial Average, that was down 274 points. It was actually performing the worst compared to S&P 500 and the NASDAQ. So good way to look at it is a percentage. That's how I usually compare those three, because the numbers are harder to understand. To me, just the percentage just gives me a better feel on how it's doing. All right, so before we get started on how TopStep is, and today I want to talk about the drawdown in TopStep and how it's different from the other funding firm that I'm using, which is Apex. But before we get to that, let me just go through my performance for today. So I posted it on YouTube. Actually, let me go back on that. So I did post it on YouTube here, and on this post that I made, you can see that the two, let me click on that, and that's gonna reset a little there, or maybe I shouldn't have done that. Apologies. It's gonna take a while to reset. And while we wait on that one, let me just focus on how we actually did. And basically, if you look at the two in the bottom here, this is the TopStep accounts. And if you look at the TopStep's accounts, the P&L for the day, 1,605 and 1,210, is the same as the gross realized right here, which is not correct, because essentially, even though this is paper money, they want to show what it's like if you were trading an actual live account, and commissions are involved with that. And commissions actually increased a bit, if you've noticed, but something that you need to pay attention to. So these numbers are not the actual numbers. So what I have here is rhythmic. So when trading TopStep, I chose the NinjaTrader for my platform. However, I still need to use rhythmic as well. And on the rhythmic here, you can see that what my actual profit is for the day, which is 1,003. Let me just change that color so it's easier to see. So 1,304.80 right here, and 1,299.80. So that's the actual P&L for the day, and you can see the delta compared to what the close profit and losses are. So the first one, at least $300 in commissions, and the other one about $300 in commissions. I did use the trade copier to trade these. So yeah, just be aware of the commissions. They increased a little bit. So if that affects your trading or your exit, or where you put your stop, that can be quite important. So again, that's our performance. I'm focusing on TopStep. If you notice, there's some Apex here. I won't talk about it, but there'll be some PAs there, and when I do talk specifically about Apex, I have a separate playlist for that one. All right, so let me talk about the drawdown a little bit, just to for us to understand this a lot better, which actually fits my style a lot better, to be honest with you. I'm liking how it's going so far. So let's zoom in to this one here. Give me a sec. All right, so this is one of the accounts that I'm using for TopStep. It's called a combine, and essentially I'll show here I'm using a 50k account, and currently the numbers they're showing here is what it was from the previous day, which was on Friday. So it hasn't updated for the day yet. So on Friday, you can see here I had a profit of $1,332.20 for that day one, and the rules is explained right here. So essentially, for TopStep, it's the same as Apex, where you need to hit a goal of $3,000. The difference here is there's a consistency of 50%. So what that means is whatever your profit is, it can't be 50% of your overall total profit. So in reality, for this combine, you can do it in 2 days, where what you need to do though is have at least $1,500 for each day. So that's one way of looking at it, and this is why I'm saying that with the performance today of roughly about 1,200, I need a third day to hopefully get to that over 3,000 and still maintain the 50% consistency target. And the thing that's different with TopStep also is they have a daily loss limit. So there's a $1,000 daily loss limit, and at that point, if you ever fall below that for the day, you won't be able to trade the account anymore. It doesn't mean that you fail, you just won't be able to trade for the day anymore. So I want to go through how the drawdown is different from TopStep, and how I actually like it, because it works well with how I normally trade. And I'll bring the calculator up here so I can explain this a lot better. So all right, that should be pretty clear. All right, so just gonna point out the levels here for everyone's understanding. The profit is 53,000, so that's the goal. That's not showing very well. Give me a sec. Let's use blue. All right, so 53,000 is the target that you're trying to get at, and basically this first line here, this is the actual what you start with, which is $50,000, and the first one here, 49,000, is basically if you fell below that, you won't be able to trade anymore. So that's the $1,000 daily loss limit. And then on the bottom here, this is the maximum loss limit, which means that if the account ever fell below 48,000, then you'd fail the combine and you'd need to reset or start all over and get a new account. So on this next day here, you can see that my balance, my net profit was $1,332.20. So what that meant was, okay, 1,000. Let's just do that. $51,332.20, and I should move this to the left so we can see it. There you go. So $51,332.20, and you won't see it here, but by the time it reset, you can see right here. Well, it's not showing it. You can see here that it's 1,000 from that number, so $50,332.20. So subtract that. Not doing a good job here. 33220 minus 1,000. So that's basically let's do it again. 51,33220 minus 1,000. So that's basically what this number is on the next day that's showing up here. So I can't fall below that number. Anyway, what I like about how this works is you don't have to worry about the drawdown from the unrealized profit. So for example, with the other firm, let's say your profit went up to this level, unrealized. So what would happen is this would also go up this way, up to here for your actually no, let's do a different, that's not very clear. All right, let's do this again with a different color. Bear with me here. All right, so with the other firm, let's say my profit went up by this amount, right here. So let's use the actual value here. So for the other firm, what that means is this value, the failure, the drawdown, would also increase by the same angle. So it'd also go up that way, around there. And then what sucks about it is, let's say for just intraday, okay? Let's just do intraday. Let's say intraday, your account went up that way and then it went back down to the same level. So what's great with TopStep is that won't matter on the drawdown because they wait until your results on the end of the day. But unfortunately, with the other firm, because your profit increased by that much, it would also increase by this much. So what then that means is that your drawdown on this side will be a lot smaller. So that's why there's a higher failure rate with Apex. But with TopStep, it's a little different because they wait for your end of day drawdown. So I think it works more for me because sometimes, let's say, for example, for today, I'm just going to bring back Thinkorswim, how I did my analysis. So I've only had one losing trade for the day, and it was actually significant. It was a losing trade of $1,000 from this trade right here. So I made a short on this trade, but it didn't phase me because at this point I was already up maybe 1.2k when I got started on this one, and basically I lost all of that and I got down to about maybe, I don't know, $100. So it didn't phase me as much because I know it didn't hurt my drawdown because it waits for the end of the day. And thankfully I was able to, move on this short and got our profit back to the same value. It's a little bumpy, but what's great about it is my drawdown was not affected. So that's just a little summary on the TopStep and how it's different and how it actually fits the way I'm trading. But end of the day, right, I need to prove that I can actually do a payout for it, which I haven't yet, but hopefully we'll have an XFA for TopStep, which is called the Express Funded Account, and hopefully I can do a payout from that. And I just want to document this on this playlist. Again, this playlist is basically for the TopStep combine XFA and hopefully payout. All right, thank you all for joining me, and I shall see you on the next one, and good luck trading out there. I appreciate your time. Have a good one.